Buenos tardes. Mi nombre es Hillary. I'm Hillary. It is the afternoon update for New Frontier, for Nueva Frontera. We're so happy you're here. And Sarah, it's good to be back. I haven't been live with you for like over a week, which is not normal.
Así es, hola a todos, estamos muy contentos de estar de regreso. Ya teníamos una semanita sin estar aquí con ustedes, con unas noticias de inmigración. La abogada estaba haciendo algo muy importante que les platicaremos más adelante, pero sí, estoy muy contenta de estar aquí.
Okay, so we have, I wouldn't call it an immigration snack, which we often try to just have a snack size. Today, it's more like a immigration meal. We have a meal of updates for you. So you don't need to, all the other areas that you're seeing immigration law updates, we're going to cover all of it right now.
Así es, entonces hoy no tenemos un snack de inmigración, algo pequeño, hoy tenemos como una comida corrida sobre las noticias que estamos viendo en inmigración. Vamos a hablar un poquito de todas. Esto es lo que necesitas saber hoy.
Okay, so first we're going to talk and honor the people who died in the back of a truck in San Antonio last week. It's so sad, and I really cannot imagine being in that situation. I can't imagine that being my life or my loved one's life. And you know, there's a really beautiful poem that basically says you have to know that the water is safer than the land in order to get on the boat. And it is talking about fleeing home. And people who are wanting to come to this country are wanting to come because it provides a lot of amazing opportunities. And it really is a failure of the US government when we start to see people who are getting in the back of trucks because they're tired of waiting on the southern border for the US government to do its job and allow them to come in and seek asylum.
Así es, entonces primero vamos a empezar con una noticia que probablemente ya todo el mundo vio, donde vamos a honrar las vidas de las personas y de los familiares de quienes fallecieron en San Antonio. No podemos ni imaginarnos cómo se debe sentir eso, y hay un poema muy hermoso que habla sobre cómo el agua a veces es más segura que la tierra, y habla sobre dejar tu hogar. Entonces, sabemos que esta es una falla de parte del gobierno de los Estados Unidos cuando las personas tienen que exponerse a este peligro en la parte de atrás de un camión, soportando estas condiciones para venir a vivir en este país, a aprovechar las hermosas oportunidades. Y pues es un fallo para las personas que están solicitando asilo.
Yes. So how the process usually works, I mean, we see people who are getting smuggled into the country in trucks all the time. It probably happens every single day. But we see an increase of it, and we see it happen in these horrendous weather conditions out of desperation. This isn't someone who's looking for an opportunity. They're acting out of desperation. And they're acting out of desperation because we're seeing Title 42, which allows Border Patrol just to kick people out, to expel them from the country without ever processing them, even if they're here to seek asylum. And we also see that there is the Wait in Mexico program, where people who are here to seek asylum must wait in Mexico. And so we have all these tent cities that have become, you know, imagine living in a tent city at the southern border of Mexico where there's no law enforcement. If you cross, you could possibly be federally prosecuted. And if you stay, you're in conditions where, I mean, there's not bathrooms in these tent cities. There's not access to clean food or water. You run out of money. It is absolutely lawless by design because the Mexican government doesn't want you there and the American government doesn't want you there.
Así es, entonces lo que estamos viendo es como una intensificación de estas medidas desesperadas que la gente toma por diferentes circunstancias. Entonces, siempre ha habido personas que vienen a este país buscando una mejor oportunidad. Sin embargo, el hecho de que se pongan o se expongan en este peligro es por situaciones en las que tenemos el título 42, donde el gobierno expulsa a las personas a pesar de que están aquí para buscar asilo. Tenemos el programa Espera en México o Remain in Mexico, donde las personas que están buscando asilo, perdón, tienen que quedarse en México y vivir en estas, lo que se llama ciudades carpa, donde no hay agua limpia, donde no hay acceso a comida. Entonces, tenemos todas estas circunstancias que orillan a las personas a tomar estas decisiones que son muy difíciles.
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, I look at this and say, if that were my family, would I have gotten in the back of a truck in order to get out of that situation? Would I have broken the law when the law was designed to not allow me to enter and my life and my family depended on it? You better bet I would have. And that's where I feel like it's a failure of our government to do its job. This isn't a matter of border security. This is a matter of getting the job done that's been being done since 1996 when this process was first created. So it's infuriating. It is so sad. We have blood on our hands. And I really want to honor the bravery of the people who passed away in those awful conditions.
Exacto, entonces esto no es solo sobre el proceso de asilo, esto es un fallo completamente de parte de las autoridades de proveer de procesos, de oportunidades, porque uno se pregunta, si fuera mi familia la que está pasando por eso, yo lo haría, yo estaría y necesitan una sola. Entonces, estamos exigiendo una solución por parte de las autoridades y también estamos honrando a todas esas vidas que se perdieron y todas esas vidas que día a día se ponen en peligro.
Yeah. Okay. So that's update number one. And the way that we prevent that from continuing to happen is for our government to get its act together.
Exacto. Y como solamente la única manera de solucionar esto es que el gobierno actúe, que haga algo, que se ponga las pilas, como diríamos en español, y, y tome una decisión, la decisión que necesitamos para proteger a las personas.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. Sarah, what's our next update?
Así es. Entonces, nuestro siguiente update es sobre una resolución que acaba de dar la Suprema Corte sobre los agentes en el borde y lo que se conoce como las 100 millas. Entonces, resulta que hace poco un agente del Border Patrol entró a un bed and breakfast, a un pequeño hotel, buscando a un ciudadano y tratando de investigar cuál era el estatus legal de esta persona. Se dice que ellos abusaron de la fuerza. Esto comenzó toda una discusión en la corte, lo que derivó en que la corte dice que los agentes de inmigración pueden buscar en tu casa, en tu auto, pueden hacer una revisión incluso de tu persona entre estas 100 millas. Y lo triste es que en lugar de fortificar la protección para las personas, lo que hemos visto es que ahora es más difícil probar que fuiste víctima, que tus derechos no se vieron respetados y que puedas tomar acción legal. Entonces, desafortunadamente, estas resoluciones dejan desprotegidas a las personas que viven en el borde y pues toda esta interacción que se da cuando las personas cruzan y se encuentran en los Estados Unidos, ya sea con permiso o sin permiso.
Yeah, so I'm going to try to say roughly the same thing in English because I followed you, but I don't know if it's going to be perfect. But here's the gist of what happened is we have a Supreme Court case saying that Border Patrol is still confined, like the search and seizure aspect, when we're within 100 miles of the US-Mexico border or the US-Canada border. Border Patrol is still limited on who it can search and where it can search and seize by the Fourth Amendment. And the Fourth Amendment requires that if you're going to enter into a private dwelling, you have a warrant before you can enter. And the reason that this case came about is because Border Patrol went into someone's private bed and breakfast within 100 miles of the border and entered searching it without any permission. So essentially, Border Patrol acted as if it was not subject to the same rules that the police would have been subject to because they were looking for undocumented immigrants. And the Supreme Court said, no, the police and Border Patrol, any government agency, has to act within the confines and the limits of what our Constitution requires, including the Fourth Amendment. Is that right, Sarah? Is that okay?
Yes, that's basically what it talks about, and it's really difficult for us to hear about that because it kind of puts the people living near the border in a difficult
absolutely.
position. Entonces, es difícil hablar de esto porque pone en una situación difícil a las personas que viven cerca del borde. Entonces, eso es nuestra segunda actualización en noticias de inmigración.
Yes, and sorry, my internet is so slow today. It was perfectly fine until we got on here, of course. I would say it's the weather, but it's a beautiful sunny day here. There's no weather going on in Phoenix. There's not even a breeze. Okay, so our next update. Sarah, tell me what's next.
Ok, entonces, bueno, esto es un poquito de lo que la gente ya pudo ver. DACA. El día miércoles se llevó en la Corte de Nueva Orleans, en el quinto circuito, se escucharon argumentos sobre cómo se va a proceder con DACA y qué es lo que sigue para este programa. Nosotros fuimos en vivo en Instagram con nuestra abogada Brianna, donde hablamos un poquito. No hay una decisión todavía, sin embargo, hay que estar muy atentos a la resolución. Recordemos que 1.3 millones de familias en los Estados Unidos tienen un familiar que obtiene los beneficios de DACA, esto es seguro social, permiso de trabajo, licencias para conducir, escuela, salud. Entonces hay que estar muy atentos a lo que va a suceder pronto. Se tiene que llegar a una respuesta en agosto, que esperamos que sea lo más positiva posible, pero como comentamos en el live, es importante que si tú tienes DACA, si conoces a alguien que tiene DACA, que exploren sus posibilidades para arreglar de manera definitiva su estatus, es decir, ajuste de estatus, visa U, visa T, petición familiar, cualquier oportunidad que ellos tengan para arreglar, ya que como vimos y hemos estado viendo, programas como DACA pueden estar en peligro.
Yes. So the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals out of New Orleans, Louisiana, heard a case yesterday. Yesterday? Yeah, just yesterday. On DACA. So determining really the legality and the longevity of whether DACA is going to stick around or not. Now, for those of you who don't know, DACA is an acronym, kind of a word we use all the time in immigration law, for Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. This is a fancy way of saying that if you are someone who came to the United States as a child, so under the age of 16 years old, you came to the United States and you've been here more or less ever since then, and you don't really have any significant criminal history, we recognize that you're here and we're going to not deport you. We're not going to give you any path to a green card. We're just not going to deport you. And we're going to give you a work permit and a social security number and the safety and security of knowing that for right now, we're not going to deport you. The trouble is that I'm afraid I'm going to sneeze. The trouble is that DACA could always go away. It's something that was created by President Obama, and it's not law. So it could always go away if Congress doesn't do something. So what we have here is, the biggest suggestion I have, if you are someone who has DACA, is to renew your DACA, because if it does go away, you want to have as much time on your DACA card as possible for your work permit purposes. And if you have not done advanced parole, and you don't know what that is, I'm not going to explain it right now. You'll know if you've done it. If you haven't done advanced parole, I would love for you to meet with an attorney someone who practices immigration law. Do not be screwing around with somebody who's not completely an immigration lawyer. Don't go talk to a divorce lawyer or a criminal defense attorney about this, because this is a really big deal. Talk to an immigration lawyer about whether you should do advanced parole now while DACA is still a program. I absolutely, not in every case, but my default position on advanced parole is if you can get it, you should take it, leave the country and come back in with permission. That way, if you do marry a US citizen or you have a kid and they turn 21 later on, even if DACA goes away, you still have the capability of fixing your status. Even if it's not right now, you're setting yourself up for success in the future. And I hate that this is something that you have to live with, but that would be the best way to safeguard your ability to stay in the United States. Rest easy knowing that the government's not deporting people in your situation where you have like no criminal history. The government is not deporting people like you. So even if DACA does go away, you are not going to be facing removal. I mean, I think it's a lot easier for me to say because I don't have this stress. So I want to really emphasize that I'm not minimizing. And it's like when someone says, calm down, and you're upset. And so like, calm down. You're like, shut up. So I don't want to say the words like calm down or this is nothing to be alarmed about. This is something to absolutely be alarmed about. This is something that is infuriating and should not be happening in this day and age when for like 20 years we've been trying to get green cards for people. My hair, all of the hair on my body is raising right now because I'm so frustrated. On your behalf, we've been trying to get this done since before 2012. That's only 10 years, right? Okay, I'm aging myself more than I need to. But we've been advocating for a long time for people who came to the United States as children to be able to be put on a path to a green card. And it really is time to make it happen. Between here and there are very few options that we can use to safeguard your ability to go to sleep at night and to rest easy. Sarah mentioned the U visa, she mentioned the T visa, and I just want to add to that advanced parole is a really good option to look into. I'm not giving legal advice, I'm just talking about it in general. But contact me and I can give you legal advice because this is a really big deal.
Así es, entonces pues nada más para agregar un poquito de lo que platiqué antes, si puedes, si tienes DACA, la recomendación es renuévalo lo antes posible. Si no has utilizado tu advance parole, también es algo positivo, hazlo con un abogado que sepa de inmigración, no lo consultes con abogado de criminal, abogado, esto es demasiado importante. ¿Por qué? Porque el advance parole te va a poner en un camino al éxito, si cualquiera que sea la situación que esto lleve para el futuro, ya sea que te cases, que tengas un hijo. Entonces queremos ponerte en un camino al éxito. Obviamente tenemos que revisar tu caso para saber si es posible, qué te conviene más, qué sí puedes hacer o qué no, pero esa es nuestra recomendación en general, no es consejo legal, es nuestra recomendación en general, pero obviamente estamos frustrados, estamos cansados, estamos 10 años de lucha para que le den a las personas que llegaron en la niñez un camino a la residencia. Pero bueno, estaremos atentos y por favor suscríbanse a nuestro canal de YouTube, a Instagram, a YouTube, para que no se pierdan las actualizaciones que estaremos dando aquí.
Yes, thank you, Sarah. Okay, what's our next update? We have, I think, 2 more.
Ok, entonces tenemos un update. Queremos felicitar públicamente a la abogada por su argumento oral en Nueva Orleans en los días pasados. Inserte aquí sonido de aplauso. Estamos muy contentos. Pueden ver su parte de su argumento en YouTube, en nuestro canal también por allá. Es muy emocionante. Y básicamente esta es solo una muestra de lo que de lo que hacemos con pasión por nuestros clientes. Tú estás listo para luchar por quedarte, nosotros estamos listos para luchar por ti. Entonces, gracias abogada por hacer esto, felicidades por su argumento, estamos muy emocionados, vamos a esperar por la respuesta. Pero bueno, es importante saber que las apelaciones con el consejo correcto valen la pena. Entonces ya dejamos aquí en los comentarios el en vivo de lo que sucedió. Entonces, congratulations, attorney, for having this oral argument. We're so happy, we're so proud, and we're telling our clients that they're ready to fight, we're ready to fight.
Yeah.
So how was it?
Yeah, it was a great experience. As it always is, it's really nerve-wracking because you never know what you're going to be asked. But, you know, I think about this client, and we've represented him at the firm since 2019, and another lawyer in town, I won't name any names, but that attorney basically went to court and rolled over and totally screwed our client. And he came to me to do an appeal. We appealed and lost, and I told him we should not give up on this because I believe that we have a winning case. And when I got to the Ninth Circuit on Tuesday and argued this case, and we won't know until we find out, and we'll get a written decision here probably in the next 6 weeks or so. But this had he followed other attorneys' advice, like his initial attorney, like from here in town in Phoenix, he would have already been deported. But from 2019 to 2022, he has had a work permit. He has had a stay of removal. He's been able to help his young daughter who has a heart condition. Her name is Sophie. He's been able to help her survive the pandemic, which is very scary for young children who have a heart condition. And he's been able to be here for the birth of his son. So at the end of the day, sometimes fighting, it's not only important because we're not going to give up, but it's also, you never want to have regret in your life. And for me, when I know that I went to the mat and I gave it everything I had, I know that, you know what, maybe God has some other plan for me, but I can face forward and I can move forward with that in mind because I know that I tried everything I had. And that's what we get to do for clients. And that's what we got to do for Mr. Troncoso a couple of days ago. So I posted the YouTube video. I know you mentioned it, and it is every time a great honor. And what's so amazing to me to go and do something like that, Abraham Lincoln himself was in that courtroom at one point in time. And one of the judges was a Black judge. One of the judges was a Korean judge. And then the other was a white judge. And there was a Black attorney who appeared, several women attorneys who were there, in addition to male attorneys. And the most important thing for me was a Mexican man who entered the country without permission and has been here for 20 some odd years. His case is just as important in the United States of America because he has rights and you have rights. You have rights, and don't think for a fucking second that you do not have rights in this country, because we are living proof that we get to fight for you because you do. You matter. You are important. We are happy you're here. Our Constitution and our laws protect you. And if we have to go to the mat for you, we're ready to do that.
Así es. Entonces, la abogada nos comenta un poquito sobre este caso. Este caso llegó a nosotros en 2019, después de que desafortunadamente otro abogado casi arruinara su caso. Él fue a la corte y el resultado no fue positivo. Él vino a nosotros para hacer una apelación. Esta apelación se hizo, desafortunadamente se perdió. Sin embargo, nosotros, o bueno, la abogada le recomendó al cliente luchar. ¿Por qué? Porque ella presiente que tenemos un caso ganador. Y eso fue lo que hicimos. Gracias a la confianza del cliente, fuimos al 9º circuito. Ya están viendo el caso ahí en los comentarios. Y eso es lo que queremos hacer por ti. Queremos luchar. Este cliente mexicano lleva aquí más de 20 años y gracias a esa lucha, a esa apelación que se ha hecho, fue capaz de tener un permiso de trabajo, estar protegido, ayudar a su hija que tiene una condición a través de este tiempo de pandemia que es muy complicado. También pudo ver el nacimiento de su pequeño hijo. Entonces, a veces es necesario luchar y hay veces que necesitamos dar todo lo que tenemos, no vivir con remordimiento, y eso es lo que fuimos a hacer. A lo mejor el plan de Dios va a ser diferente, pero saber que dimos todo lo que tuvimos es lo más importante, y es así como luchamos por nuestro cliente y por todos en general. No queremos dejar nada, lo vamos a dar todo, estamos muy contentos, y parte de lo que emocionó a la abogada es que incluso el personaje histórico de Abraham Lincoln estuvo en esa corte alguna vez. Y ante un juez de diferentes nacionalidades, hombres, mujeres. El caso de este cliente mexicano es sumamente importante. Él tiene derechos, la ley, la corte lo protege y estamos aquí para hacer valer esos derechos. Él importa, él es parte importante de esta firma, de su familia, de este país, y estamos ahí para luchar por él y por sus derechos. Estamos muy contentos, obviamente, tenemos que esperar alrededor de 6 semanas para la decisión, pero habremos dado todo lo que tuvimos, habremos luchado por él, por su familia, y estamos muy emocionados, muy honrados, muy orgullosos de la abogada por su increíble presentación. So congratulations, attorney. We're so happy, and we're so happy for our client too.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest lies we tell ourselves, and this is, yes, Amanda, I'm here for you and for your hubby, okay? I think the biggest lie we tell ourselves is that it has to be this way. And a lot of times life starts to prove that to us, where it's like, I'll use, for example, when my husband and I really wanted to have a baby, and for like 7 years, we couldn't have a baby. And so there came a point where we just thought that this had to be this way. And I just wanted, I have 4 kids now. I have all the children of what I could possibly want. I think that anytime you start to tell yourself that this is just the way it is, there's a little lie in there. There's some truth, otherwise you wouldn't believe it. But there's a little lie in there. And it doesn't have to be this way. And you do matter. And your situation may be really hard. Being told by a doctor that I would never, ever have kids was really, really hard. But man, I don't know. Miracles are just miracles. And I'm believing for one for you.
Así es. Entonces, la abogada dice que a lo mejor una de las mentiras que a veces creemos es, así son las cosas. Y hay un poco de verdad, ¿no? Hay cosas que así son, pero también hay un poco de mentira, y a veces lo que tenemos que hacer es desafiar esas posibilidades, es luchar por un milagro. Para ellos, por ejemplo, era el nacimiento de sus hijos. A ella un doctor le dijo que nunca iba a poder tener hijos, y esto, bueno, ahora tienen 4 y están muy felices, pero siempre hay esa posibilidad de desafiar, y los milagros simplemente son milagros. Entonces tenemos que creer, pero también tenemos que hacer el trabajo, tenemos que luchar, ser esforzados, ser valientes, y en nuestro camino vamos a ir encontrando a las personas que nos van a ayudar a luchar. En este caso, estamos muy felices de acompañar a nuestro cliente en este proceso. Él está listo para luchar, nosotros estamos listos para luchar por él.
Yeah, one of the things I often joke about is I have to hire people to work in the firm who are smarter than me, because as lovely as I think I am not the smartest. I don't want to be the smartest person in the room. And so it's been really remarkable and incredible on this journey of hiring people is make sure that if you're working with someone that you feel confident that they're the smartest and best person. Sometimes maybe it's not brains, but they're also the best, most creative, innovative person for you. So my job in the firm is to make sure that we are creative and innovative. Because if you've talked to 3 lawyers and they've all told you the same solution to the problem, the odds are that that's a great solution to your problem. But if it doesn't make the hurting stop, if it doesn't solve your pain, then it's not really a solution for you, is it? Like, I'm going to go off a little bit of tangent here. The most common way, let's say you enter the country illegally and you marry a US citizen, the most common way for you to get your green card is to leave the US for a long time and wait outside the country. But is that going to keep your marriage together? Are you going to have a husband or a wife, the American husband or wife, on the other side of that? I don't know. I do know that when my husband, who's in the Air Force, deploys and goes to war for 6 months at a time, it's really hard to maintain that relationship, because I'm living my life here and he's living his life there. And we stop being in relationship because we are separated indefinitely. So when you hear from every single attorney that you need to go to Mexico in order to fix, that is a solution to the problem. Don't get me wrong. That is, well, maybe not every solution to every single problem, but it is a very common remedy for unlawfully entering the US. But there are so many other options available. And I don't want to like name call, but what I will say is we're different because I'm going to put in the work to find the creative solution that's legal. I'm not doing anything crazy, but that's why we love T visas. That's why we use VAWA. Like if you've had cruelty within your marriage, VAWA is there whether or not I talk to you about it. It's available to you. So we're going to have the difficult conversation and say, does this apply to you? We're going to talk to you about a T visa, about a U visa, because I want the hurting to stop. I don't want to just solve your immigration problem. I want you to solve your personal pain and make that stop, because that is what your lawyer should be doing for you.
Así es. Entonces, lo que sucede aquí o lo que le encanta a la abogada es no solamente tener estos casos, sino ver a un equipo increíblemente creativo. Ella dice, nunca seas la persona más inteligente en el cuarto, en un espacio, en donde sea que vayas. Y eso es lo que a ella le gusta hacer con su equipo. Ella se encarga de buscar a las personas que van a ser creativas, que van a innovar, que van a buscar una respuesta para mí, para ti. Entonces, digo, no es obviamente por señalar, pero sabemos que una solución muy común que los abogados utilizan para las parejas que tuvieron una entrada sin inspección es ir a México. Sin embargo, eso no es es una solución de inmigración, pero no es una solución a tu dolor, porque va a mantener a una pareja separada, como la abogada cuando su esposo iba a la guerra y tenían que estar 6 meses separados. Eso les prohibía tener una relación, estar en el mismo lugar. Entonces, lo que queremos hacer para ti o lo que tu abogado debería estar haciendo para ti es buscar no solamente tu solución a tu caso de inmigración, sino a tu vida, a tu dolor personal. A eso te está afectando a tu familia. Entonces, aquí, por ejemplo, son conversaciones difíciles que tenemos que tener, pero queremos asegurarnos de explorar todas las posibilidades que puedas tener. Por eso hablamos de U-Visa, por eso hablamos de Visa T, por eso hablamos de VAWA, que si te lo mencionamos o no, igual está disponible para ti. Entonces queremos buscar, queremos ser creativos y eso es lo que creemos que hacemos diferente, que nuestros clientes encuentran diferente con nosotros, que buscamos todas las soluciones que atiendan a tu dolor, no solo a tu caso de inmigración, porque tú eres más que tu caso de inmigración, eres más que tu estatus, tu vida, la de tu familia, la unidad son importantes para nosotros. Entonces hay que tener cuidado.
Oh, thank you, Sarah. I'm so proud of myself because I'm kind of understanding what you're saying. I realize it's because you're repeating what I just said, but it's like I get included. So I'm happy about that. So another update, and Amanda and I are kind of chatting here. So that's why it's, you guys, anytime we're on live, you can chat with us because Amanda is sharing that, her husband went to Ciudad Juarez to get his green card. Probably that Amanda is a US citizen. I'm seeing their super cute kids, adorable in this picture. And hubby, I'm curious where you're at because I would love to go there. So you'll have to let me know this beautiful location you're in. But he had what's called the permanent bar. So when he went to Ciudad Juarez, he's now barred for 10 years before he can apply to come back. But Amanda, I want to share, and everybody else who's watching, I want to share that recently USCIS updated what it considers the 3 and the 10-year bar to be. So they can run while you're in the US. So I don't want to say that, hola Diana, ¿cómo está? It's in Chiapas. Okay. Mexico is so beautiful. It really is such an incredible country. USCIS has issued this new guidance. It's really new, and it's based on some of the litigation that was going on at the Circuit Court of Appeals. So really cool stuff that we see happen when we go to the Circuit Court sometimes really crappy stuff too. But what I would say is give us a call and maybe we charge $100 for a consultation. So I'm only suggesting this, Amanda, not because I want your $100. I promise I don't. And if we can't help you, we just give it back. But in order to book a consultation with one of our attorneys, we just ask for the $100 to make sure that you show up, because we do sometimes have people who have conflicts, and we want to see that they're vested in their outcome of their immigration case. But my suggestion would be is you already have, it sounds like a decision. Hola, Angelica. ¿Cómo está, señora? Well, you already have a decision from Ciudad Juarez for us to look at. Why don't you send us that decision? And then we can look at what the guidance is. We're probably going to need to know his entry and exit dates as well, so that we can see if maybe we can, with this new guidance, argue that they have improperly found that he had the permanent bar and all he needs is a 601A waiver. You get that 601A waiver, and we have a very, very good success rate with 601A waivers, like 100%. And maybe we have a turn of events here that's beneficial to you. That guidance is brand spanking new this week. So, you know, Amanda, maybe there's something really great here for you. I don't know, but I would just have to see what his entry and exit dates are. So give it a think, and no pressure if you don't want to, but it might be, yeah, he had the 601A approved. Then it might be a motion to reopen and reconsider in light of this new USCIS guidance. And that could be something that would be adjudicated in less than 6 months. And then he would probably be approved. I don't know that it's a done deal. I don't want to give you false hope, because that would be really crappy. But I do want to say is there's been some changes in the law since that happened, unless it happened 2 days ago. So maybe give it a think.
Sí, entonces estamos platicando un poquito con Amanda, quien nos cuenta un poquito sobre su caso, y lo que estábamos comentando es que ha habido una actualización en lo que USCIS, Inmigración, considera la barra o el castigo de 3 y 10 años. Han actualizado las líneas, las guías, qué dice sobre esto, sobre dónde se pasa el tiempo. Entonces le estamos recomendando a Amanda que, bueno, revise esa decisión, si se siente cómoda al respecto, que nos la comparta. Podemos reunirnos para ver qué dice. Ella comenta incluso que su perdón fue aprobado, entonces puede ser que haya ahí algún caso. Obviamente no sabemos, tenemos que revisarlo. Obviamente en este paso ya estaríamos en una consulta privada, tiene un costo de $100, pero si no podemos ayudarte, no pasa nada, aquí están de regreso. Lo importante es que sepamos que estás comprometida con tu caso y que hagamos la inversión juntas para poder ayudar a tu esposo. No sabemos qué puede hacer, a lo mejor una moción para reabrir basado en esta nueva guía. Obviamente no queremos darte falsas esperanzas, pero creemos que puede haber algo aquí para ti, para tu esposo, no sé. Lo importante es estar atento a estas actualizaciones de la ley, porque siempre pueden cambiar, siempre pueden proponer nuevos caminos. Lo importante es buscar la ayuda adecuada y no perder la fe.
Yes, that would be so amazing. Wouldn't it be crazy if, like, what a miracle that would be? And I would love for that to be the case for you and your sweet boys. Okay, Sarah, what was our last update? And before we do that, I want to say hi to everybody. Hola, Mireya. That's so beautiful.
Mireya.
Mireya. I've never heard that. It almost looks like see her. Mira ella, Mireya. I don't know.
Ah, yeah.
Julia, hola. Gracie, hola. Angelica, mi hermana, hola. ¿Cómo está? Diana, ¿cómo está, señora? It's so good to see all of you. So we're so happy you're here for our immigration law update meal. It's your pre-dinner.
Es antes de la cena. Hola a todas, estamos muy contentas de verla. I actually think that was it for our meal.
Wonderful. We're done with dinner. I'm very full. My brain is full of knowledge, and I hope that yours is too. Here's the takeaway. What's amazing about immigration law, and if I were on the receiving end, I would not think this is amazing. So maybe like the bad thing about immigration law is it gets updated almost daily. When you look at things like criminal law or family law or estates or personal injury, very, very rarely are there any changes at all. And if it is a change, it's going to be for that one state. So like Georgia may have a change in personal injury law. So if you get in a car wreck, things might change for you in Georgia. The incredible thing about immigration is it is a federal law, so it applies to everybody. But what happens in one circuit, so like the Fifth Circuit, can impact the entire country, even though it's only happening in one circuit. So it starts to feel like you are constantly getting hit over the head with changes in the law. What I want to share with you today is that we're here. Let us be the people who are deciding and deciphering and navigating this constantly changing journey. I want us to be your GPS. I want to be Siri for you. And I want you to be able to just live your life and do your thing and know that we have your back and we're here to update you and help you navigate from point A, which is where you are, perhaps undocumented, your family is separated, or whatever it may be, to point B, which is to freedom, to living free with your family in the place that you choose to live.
Así es, entonces, bueno, es todo por nuestra cena de inmigración. Estamos muy contentos de haberles compartido esta información. Y lo bueno y lo malo de la ley de inmigración es que siempre está cambiando y a veces se siente como que no podemos estar, siempre hay cambios, siempre hay actualizaciones, que es un poco diferente a lo que sucede con las leyes de la propiedad, la ley criminal, la ley de familia, que si cambia, puede cambiar incluso únicamente en un estado. Por ejemplo, el estado de Georgia, ¿no? Hay una actualización y entonces tu accidente se ve diferente en Georgia. Lo que sucede con la ley de inmigración es que es una ley federal. Entonces, algo que suceda en el quinto circuito puede cambiar y aplicarse a todos los estados. Entonces, lo que queremos decirte es que nosotros estamos aquí para recibir eso, para entender, para aplicar esos cambios. Lo único que queremos es que tú vivas tu vida, que estés tranquilo, que sepas que te vamos a ayudar a llevar del lugar A, que es quizás sentirte menos, no tener documentos o estar separado de tu familia, al punto B, que es esta reunificación familiar, es un futuro brillante, es un permiso de trabajo, una residencia, lo que sea que tú sueñas y poder vivir libre, que puedas elegir dónde es que quieres que estar, a lo mejor con tus hijos aquí en los Estados Unidos, pero poder visitar Chiapas, Guadalajara, Sinaloa y poder regresar con todo la confianza del mundo, a lo mejor estar aquí mientras estás trabajando y luego construirte una casita en tu pueblo. No sabemos qué es lo que estás buscando, pero queremos ser ese GPS, esa Siri para ti. Déjanos a nosotros entender la ley y saber cómo te va a servir a ti. Y tú solamente toma ese paso de fe, confía en nosotros. Estamos aquí para ti y sobre todo te estamos respaldando.
Yes, I love it. Sarah, thank you so much as always. It is a pleasure working with you and serving this amazing community. Have a wonderful day. Everybody, enjoy your dinner tonight. We're almost to dinner time, my favorite time of day. And we will see you tomorrow on Friday, which is always a wonderful day for everyone as we head into another hot July weekend here in Phoenix. Until then, thank you so much.
Bye. Hola, te invitamos a suscribirte a nuestro canal si no lo has hecho y activar la campanita para que te lleguen todas las notificaciones del canal. Comparte esta información, déjanos tus dudas en los comentarios y no te olvides de seguirnos en nuestras redes sociales.